Hi everyone. Are you lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and are you able to say it's one of the best things that's ever happened to you? Or have you been joining me on my Facebook group, or have you been to one of my group coaching sessions, or my meetup group, and you've heard me say you're a healer or a teacher? Well, if that's you, you have come to the right place, because today's live show, is called Being Gay is a Gift, and we're going to be having a whole new conversation on what it means to be LGBT. Ooh, that rhymes. All right, hi everybody, my name is Jamie Smith. I'm a certified LGBT life coach, a certified law of attraction facilitator, and the purpose of the Hangout with Jamie show is to uplift, inspire, and empower the LGBTQ community and our friends. So welcome to our live show. The live show is the first Wednesday of every month, and I have an incredible panel today. But before I bring them on, I just want to give a quick shout out to those of you who have joined my group coaching program. It's a mastermind group coaching program. It starts tomorrow, and there's an afternoon session. It's all full, but there's an evening session. There's still a couple of spots left. So I just want to give a shout out to those of you who have joined. And if you still want to join, there are still 2 more spots left. Go to hangoutwithjamie.com/group. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into my amazing panel today, and I want to introduce to you somebody who has really made a huge difference in my life. So I'd like to first introduce to you my first guest, Karen McCrocklin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
I'm happy to. You know, I've watched you over the last couple of years sort of step into this role, and I'm so incredibly pleased and grateful that you invited me to join you. I love a lot of the things that you say, and I am absolutely right there with you in terms of being LGBT as a gift. So I've been an activist and advocate for a long, long time, longer than I'm willing to even claim anymore. But it's been a great thing. But more than that, I believe that being a lesbian is the best thing that ever happened to me. And I do a lot of speaking and coaching other people, inspiring, attempting to inspire and sort of promote that whole idea that we can look at things in our lives that sometimes other people, or we ourselves might look at as a possible potential area of trouble or pain or any of that stuff, and look at it as a positive, because it really is.
Wow, exactly. And I can't wait. We're going to jump right into that. I can't wait to have this discussion with you. Really, really grateful that you're here today, so thank you. And Maureen, some of you recognize Maureen from my other live shows. Hi, Maureen, tell everyone a bit about yourself and your special function today.
Hi, Jamie. Yes, I'm Maureen. I am a good friend of Jamie's, and I've been doing the moderator role on his show for a while. I read the comments, and if you have any comments or questions, please send them to us, and we'll read them on air. This is also a great opportunity for some free coaching. Yeah, Jamie and I met through his group called Happy, Healthy, and Gay in Vancouver, and that's how it all began.
Excellent.
Happy to be here.
Yay. And is there any comments right now?
Let me see. There is one that is asking, Karen, do you ever come to Vancouver?
Do I have what?
Do you ever come to Vancouver?
I have come to Vancouver several times. In fact, I came to Vancouver, I don't know how many years ago. It was quite a few years ago. I had the opportunity to do a little tiny walk-on role on the Showtime series The L Word, and that was my favorite trip to Vancouver, because I got with all the cool lesbians. But yeah, I love Vancouver.
I think the question is more, are you ever going to speak in Vancouver?
Am I going to speak in Vancouver? You know what, I would love to. I've been kind of on a little bit of a hiatus this last year. I had lesbian knees and had to have those worked on, and lesbian basketball knees and had to have those worked on. I've had several things going on, but I really, probably starting in the fall, have a whole bunch of things planned, and I think coming to Vancouver sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Okay, good. Well, that's something to work on, Jamie.
Okay,
Jamie, there's also a comment from Michael Lozier saying that He is watching as well, Jamie and friends.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Yay. All right, so let's jump right into today's topic of being gay as a gift. And I first wanted to start by talking about the law of attraction perspective. So as a gay person, lesbian, bisexual, trans, if whatever we're thinking about ourselves, whatever we're thinking, it creates a feeling or a vibe that goes out into the universe. So we can choose to believe that it's the best thing that's ever happened to us. We can choose to believe that it is a gift. It's a very empowering belief to have. And I want to talk to Karen a lot more about that in a moment. But I just want to show you how the law of attraction works in terms of believing what we believe. But basically, and I've shown this before, but I love this little word box here. So our words and our thoughts go out into the universe, and that produces that affects our vibration or our moods or our feelings. And our feelings are going out into the universe, and the universe only has one job description. Maureen, what is the law of attraction's two-word job description?
Match vibration.
That's all it's doing. So I know for myself, years ago when I was in a place of not feeling good about myself, well, I was sending out this vibration of self-hatred, and I was attracting that in the outer world. So I just wanted to really, our job really is to, and I love this, is to mind our own vibrations. It's to know that who you are is perfect, whole, and complete, and perfect as you are. And when you know that, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. But what I know through the law of attraction, when you are really vibrating that, the law of attraction is just matching our vibrations. It brings us more opportunities that are matching how we feel about ourselves. All right. So Karen, I want to jump right into talking with you right now. And how did you get to the point where, because I'm honestly, when I heard your TED Talk and you said, being a lesbian is the best thing that ever happened to me, I went, I have never heard anyone say that before. How did you get to that point?
It took a while. I think I was very, like a lot of other people that grew up sort of in the 80s and 90s, I bought into the whole everybody's against me and everybody's against us, and so therefore I need to adopt an attitude that helps defend me against that. And the more I began to realize that that wasn't necessarily true, particularly when I came with an open heart and an open mind and a willingness to be vulnerable and all that I would get that in return. And so those sorts of lessons are kind of subconscious thing going over a period of a lot of years, but really getting down, drilling way down to the whole, this is who I am here and down right here, and I'm going to show that to you and I'm going to be present for you to show that to me. And the response from people is just, we've all had those moments, and it was just to me a process of sort of stringing more of those moments together. And I think also, I could not have been luckier and more grateful to have lived at the time in history that I've lived, to have gone from my early experiences in the beginning of the AIDS epidemic when I first came out to where we are today in a lifetime has been, I just well up with tears every time I think about it, because to have watched what it's like for a community of people to have come together despite our differences and to celebrate our similarities and work together to achieve the things that we have achieved in such a relatively short period of time in history. How much luckier could you be to have been a part of that? I mean, when we just, here, you guys are a little bit ahead of us in Canada, but when we just, celebrated the Supreme Court ruling in terms of marriage equality here in the U.S. back in June, it was a feeling of, we had some wonderful people leading that charge, but every single one of us that ever had the courage to tell somebody something scary and to come out and to do any of those, every single one of us helped achieve that moment. Millions and millions of people, and some of them aren't here anymore, and a lot of us are, and by golly, how much luckier could you have been to have lived at a time like that? It floors me. But, and more than that too, I think that we have access to some early lessons that I think other people don't learn until later. For example, in terms of compassion, in terms of knowing what it's like to be on the outside, in terms of understanding intrinsically what it's like to be scared and what it's like to have to summon the courage to tell somebody something about yourself that they don't know.
Yeah.
Makes us compassionate. It makes us insightful. It gives us an ability to spread good energy and understanding in other people in ways that a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people who aren't LGBT don't understand that until later on in their lives. We learn through those lessons, but we get those lessons really early, and they're scary and they're hard sometimes. But if we turn them around into, wow, I now know how to approach someone who feels isolated. I know what that feels like, so I know how to do that. What a gift to me that is, to have that superpower.
I love that. And so is that why you say, because you also said, I mean, it's a quote that literally changed my life, that being LGBT is not something to be overcome, but it's an opportunity to use our lives as healers and teachers.
I think we are. I mean, I think we are teachers. I think, you know, I talked about this in my TED Talk, but I think that if you look back over the continuum of history, there are groups that have come to the forefront at different times to be leaders and to be healers and to be teachers. And there's all sorts of examples. I mean, you can go back in the U.S. in the early 1960s, and we had the African-American people coming to say, you know, we're just like you, and that sort of understanding that all of that opened about prejudice and about bigotry, and God knows we still have a hell of a lot of lessons to learn about that. But the point is that that group came to the forefront. We came to the forefront in the late 70s, the early 80s. You know, in lots of different ways to be that. But you can look through time immemorial and find examples of that. And at this point in time, it's us. And how awesome is that? That I got to be one of those people. I mean, we all get to be a part of that. And it's not over. It's not even close to being over.
Yeah. No, not at all. I just think of me, when I think of you as being very brave. How did you get so brave?
You know, I'm going to say I was really lucky because I came out of the womb, I think, just not really paying a lot of attention to what anybody else thought.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that for me, the things that were important to me were love and understanding and relationships and connection, and trying to find that and not letting anything stop me as far as that goes. But at the same time, being really aware that a lot of my contemporaries were not in those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, you know, it's part of it is a worldview that I just have, but also it's a learned thing that comes from practice. I mean, every LGBT person that's listening to this has had that moment when they shared something with someone and felt a warmth returned to them that they didn't expect.
Yeah.
Or we all had that. And so I was like, I want more of that. I want more of that. And so you know what? Sometimes it's not going to work out in my favor, and I don't care, because most times it does. So I'm going to keep looking for that. And it's like, you know, people that go into sales and they say smile and dial. Just keep smiling. Just keep dialing until you get it. And so it's sort of the same thing. And for me, I mean, I was a little tiny lesbian out going, I love you. And, you know, sometimes it did not go over well. A certain girl, especially the preacher's daughter, I had the big crush on. But, you know, but that wasn't the thing to me. And the thing to me was about sort of staying true to myself. And so I don't know how I came about that worldview, but the little experiences that I've had, I wanted more. And we've all had them. And so what we all have to develop is that desire for more of the way that feels. It's right. Attraction, just like
yeah. And so did you have backlash though when you came out, or did you have support from your family right away? Because I know a lot of people are still afraid to come out. They're afraid of rejection.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to watch that whole thing, how it play out over the years. Because, and this is what's interesting, is that back when I came out, and I'll tell you that story in a minute, but when I came in, it was really risky. I mean, the odds were not forever in our favor on that at all. But little by little, it's become less and less scary, I think, for some people. But here's the thing I know. And I've said this, and I'll say it a million times. It doesn't matter how accepting society becomes. It doesn't matter how much we, as a society, are okay with LGBT people. It doesn't matter anything what the outside world does. What is always going to remain is that moment that I talked about a minute ago, that lonely sort of moment when, as an adolescent or even as an adult, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, I now embrace this side of me that is not maybe readily apparent to those around me, and I have to summon the courage to go and tell them that I'm not, that I'm different than maybe what they think that I am. And that's risky as hell no matter what. I mean, I think that's the thing that any person, straight, gay, whatever, can relate to, is that fear. Yes. And that's never going to go away. And it's a scary thing because it's never going to go away. I don't think that if I was if you raise a child in a family now and every day you said it's okay that you're anything you want to be, it's okay that you're anything you want to be, it's okay that you're anything you want to be, doesn't matter. I still think that's a personal development thing, and not an LGBT thing. That's a thing about, I'm going to be okay with being myself. That's a universal human truth. Yeah. And that's never going to go away. And so, yes, we absolutely need to make sure that we have a fertile fields for people to do that, and where there is no fear. And we're getting closer and closer to that all the time. But that one little thing is never going to go away, never. And so it's an interesting sort of thing to see develop. Now, for me personally, I started very young. I was never confused. When I was about 12, I think I was sitting in church, and there was this girl that sat in front of me, and I would look at her hair, and I would say, oh, her hair is so pretty. I love her hair. And then we would stand up to sing a hymn, and I would say, oh, her dress is so pretty. I love that dress. And then I would watch her smile. Her smile is so pretty. I love her smile. And after church, I would try to talk to her, and I love her. And then I thought, I think I love her. And, I was so excited about that. Now, like I said, when I told her, it didn't go that well. But the thing for me was, I'm so excited that I have this new feeling in my life, and I want to go find that some more. And so my family, my family is incredibly supportive. I think my mother, and she'll be the first to tell you, is for me. And the girl was the preacher's daughter too. That was the big thing. It was. I couldn't have picked a better choice. And actually, I've seen her. We laugh about that now. But anyway, my mother has an extremely religious background, and so I can absolutely relate to people who have come from that struggle, because she, of course, her goal is to continue to love me, but she had to reconcile a lot of stuff, and it took a long time for her to reconcile a lot of things in her own belief, and I came from churches where this was not a good thing, and I have a lot of relatives in my extended family that are still just hopelessly mired in bigotry and fear, and leave them lay where Jesus flang them. That's what my grandmother used to say. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna love them, and I'm gonna say, but see you later. Not having that energy in my world. Thank you.
That is amazing. Absolutely.
You can invite that. I mean, we all get to decide. It doesn't mean I don't love them. It doesn't mean I'm not related to them. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have to see them at certain things. There was a family thing, a funeral for my aunt just a couple months ago, and it was weird. They were there, and so was I. But you know what? My thing was not to worry about what they thought. My thing was to push as much love out of every pore in my being as I could, and that's what I did.
Okay, I am back now. I got logged off. Sorry.
Leave me, and see, I just kept on talking, and
you guys kept the show
I heard
going.
you.
You kept the show going. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I
It was
don't know.
really good. You should watch it back on the video.
I will for sure. Oops,
There
that's
we go.
one. All right, hang on. Oh Lord, technology. Okay, we're back. All right, so let's go into comments or questions. Maureen, do we have anyone asking any questions or comments?
Well, there are two questions. One is, what year did you come out, Karen? And the other is, we want you to come to our queer improv show in Vancouver.
I wonder
And
who
the
wrote that.
answers are yes and yes. I'm not telling you what year I came out, but I'm going to tell you I was 12. No, I came out, let's see, well, I think here's how I came out. You want to hear how I came out? You're going to love this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the library at school back in the day, and I was in junior high school, so I must have been about 15. And I was looking, because we had card catalogs then, because we didn't have the internet. It was a little while ago. And I found this book, and it was about homosexuals. And I looked at it, and I thought, well, I think that's what I am. And I said, okay. And so I went and told my friend, I think I'm a homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon I went and told my mom, I think I'm a homosexual. And a homosexual. And I couldn't even, then it was gay, and I couldn't even say lesbian for a really long time because that word was like icky.
Mm.
But anyway, so it was a process, but I think early as a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
in the 70s, or 80s, I'm sorry, in the 80s, yeah. I don't know exactly what year.
That's amazing.
And I would love to come to your improv show.
Yeah.
I got to come to Vancouver. This is a done deal now. After
All right.
this. Yeah. We're doing it.
This is what happens when you just, it's just the law of attraction, right? So you said you had some, what is your I know you said that you had followed Esther around through the law of attraction. You've done work with Hay House. The reason I found you is from the Hay House, your Hay House radio show, Out from the Inside, which really, when I see, and that's what I know, is that when each one of us chooses just to live our best gay life, it frees others. I mean, really, by you having your show, I was like, I want to do that. That's what I really want to do. So thank you for that.
Well, I was so incredibly grateful and blessed that Hay House invited me to do the first show about LGBT spirituality on their radio network, on the internet radio network that has over 1 million listeners. And it was really a wonderful experience. And I got to do it for quite some time and had a really fun time doing it. So, and I met great people. Like, you're a great example. But I can tell you that on my Facebook page, there's a lot of people that I met through doing that show, so it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot your question.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, no. I was just wondering, like you said that through that experience, you also got to know about the law of attraction,
right.
And that you said that you had a cool law of attraction story.
Yes, so, I do. I have lots of them.
Okay.
So I do a lot of work for Hay House. I have been a video and television producer for most of my career, and for many years. And I started doing some work for them, and I was doing some work for Dr. Wayne Dyer. I do some work on his public broadcasting specials and do some documentary stuff and get to follow him around. And I've spent a lot of time I've been absolutely blessed beyond belief to have spent a lot of time with Louise Hay and several of the other authors. And so I edit things a lot. And so they asked me to edit this promotional video a couple of years back for Abraham Hicks. For those, I guess most of you all that are familiar with Law of Attraction are familiar with Esther and the being, how Esther channels Abraham, the voices of the ancient, whatever the words are, I'm not getting them right now, but you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, it's all about Law of Attraction. And so I had done this. I had been invited to speak at this Pride event in Austin, Texas, and I did it. And so I went down there and did it, and I was way behind on my deadline on doing Esther's promo. Right. So it was the day after, and I rushed back home, and I sat at my desk, and I was like, okay, I got to finish this promo. So I'm editing Esther this talk, Abraham speaking to this group on a ship in Canada, and I'm looking through this, and I'm, when you edit something, you listen to it over and over and over. So it gets the law of attraction, it's these feelings, and you want to keep these feelings, and so at the same time, I'm on the computer, and over here I've got my little Facebook going, and people are saying, oh, that was really enjoyed your thing last night. I'm like, yeah, that was really fun. I really liked it. Thank you. I'm editing Esther, giving the feeling. I go back to hear people like, really enjoyed the thing. Oh, it was really fun. Yeah. Going back to Esther, I thought, yeah, that really was fun. I really had fun doing that talk. I really haven't done that in a while. I really like the way that feels. I should keep doing that. Okay? So I edit Esther, and I'm going back, and a little while later, I thought, what I'd really like to do? I'd really like to do a TED Talk. That would be so much fun. Okay, and I go back, and I'm editing Esther, and I am not shitting you. 5 minutes later, and I have this, excuse me.
It's all good. You can swear on my show.
I have the screen captures. This guy that I know not very well, who wasn't at the thing in Austin, sends me a private message and says, I know this woman that's organizing a TED conference. Is it okay if I give her your number? And I said, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that fast. But the thing was, I was so in that zone because I was listening to that, and I was editing and editing and editing that, and then I was applying this to my own experience, and it just was that perfect storm of stuff coming together. And I literally, within 5 minutes of saying, what I'd really like? I'd love to do a TED Talk. That would be so much fun.
Yes. It's not amazing.
But it wasn't crazy. I mean, if you live your life like this, it's very normal.
It's the law. Exactly. And it's like what I say in my seminars. I say to people that, the law of attraction states you get in your life whatever you give your energy, attention, and focus to. So you're in the vibration of that, you're in the focusing on that. And then from that space, the first, I teach the 3 steps of deliberate attraction. And the first step is you need to identify what your desire is. And like that's what happened to you, and it can happen when you're in that space. It can happen so effortlessly too.
There's so much power in declaration. This is what I want, and so many people are so afraid to do that. They're so afraid to state an intention. And Dr. Dyer talks a lot about the power of intention, and that was sort of my entree into this whole world, and the idea that if I was courageous enough to state my intention, that good things would happen. And so many times people hedge their bet. Well, I don't want to say what I want because then, of course, it won't happen because that's just my luck,
Right.
And I don't want to say what I'm going to happen because then if somebody hears it, then they're going to, try and sabotage me or, and but if I say I want it and it doesn't happen, then people are going to go, that's what you get for wanting stuff. Who are you? And all that crap tape that we get plays in our head and we don't do it. And let me tell you, I will tell you now, I really seriously want what I really seriously want. I mean, lots of things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll say it and saying it to myself. But here's the better thing. Here's the even better part of it. The better part of it is that if it doesn't happen, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's when we kick into, all is well, everything is working out for my highest good. And it is. Because let me tell you, I am so glad that some of the things that I wanted didn't happen.
Yes.
I mean, I would be married to, I mean, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things in my life that I thought were a great idea at the time, and it didn't happen. And so for me, it's a real kind of, the law of attraction is not is not a slot machine, where you put in the thing and ching ching ching, it happens immediately. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's about directing yourself and about that process of learning to have the courage to state what you want.
Yeah.
And learning to be okay if that doesn't happen the next minute. And because in fact, what's going to happen is the feeling that you're looking for, and it may not come in the package that you expected, but that's okay. Because what you really want is the feeling, and the feeling is going to show up.
Oh, that's a beautiful segue, because I actually do have a question from somebody who basically wrote to me and said that They wanted to come out, but they're really scared that their family is going to reject them. And we talked a little bit about this, but I just wanted to, in terms of law of attraction, I just want to tell that person who wrote in that I heard Debbie Ford a while back. Somebody had called into her show and said the same thing. I'm afraid that I'm going to be rejected. So what they want, their desire is to come out, but they're afraid that because it may or may not go the way they want it to go, right? And so she said, "You're not actually scared of of being rejected." And this person said, "I'm not." She said, "No. Here's what I want you guys to hear." She said, "You're actually scared of what you're going to do to yourself or say to yourself when they do reject you."
Right.
Because not everyone's going to be on board. There is going to be some backlash. So how do we handle that? And it goes like what you were saying. It's like, I know some people, they want this job and then they don't get it, and then they're so down about it. And I'm always saying, well, maybe something better. There's something better coming, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And here's gay as a gift. The gift is that we learn that we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
No matter what. Can I tell you that your family's not going to reject you? No. Can I tell you that that rejection is going to last the rest of your life? No. Can I tell you that what I know from experience is that the odds are very great that they won't reject you, or that they might for a short period of time, or that you might be the catalyst for a kind of reconciliation the likes of which your family has never known? Yeah. That will bring an amazing epiphanies to all. That's possible too. It's all possible. But here's the thing: what you're afraid of is it's what you're focusing on is something that's keeping you feeling safe. That's keeping you in that place of, okay, if I create the big bad wolf, I don't have to do anything. Now the big bad wolf might be standing there, but he might be. But the truth of the matter is, what you need to focus on is, how am I going to be okay being who I am all the time? Because that's what you want. That's the goal, not the focus on what's going to happen if somebody says that's no good. And it happens. It's unfortunate. I have people who are very, very close to me who do not have great relationships with their families over it. But you know what? Every single one of them says, what I have is myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And how important that is, right? Well, we're coming up to the end of our show. Oh my God, I could talk to you all day about this.
That'll be fine. We'll do it again sometime.
Okay, sounds good.
When I come to Vancouver.
Yeah. And as those of you know, I'm now part of a gay comedy troupe, so that's what somebody was commenting on, called Queer Prov here in Vancouver. So yeah, come see that show. And yeah, and so great. Thank you so much for being here, Karin. Really, you have inspired me more than I can even tell you here on air.
I'm so blessed and grateful that you invited me. It was really fun. We should do it again because we can laugh a lot. I have a feeling.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Karin.
Yeah, thank you. So for those of you who were watching today, thank you so much for being here. Remember, you are a healer and you are a teacher. You are perfect, whole, and complete. Vibrate that and make your only goal to vibrate that today. And I promise you, through the law of attraction, only good will come your way. I love you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.